Brilliant. Okay, a very warm welcome. Once again, as I say, my name's Amit Chadha. I'm the Director of Programs here at Claw Social Leadership, and a very warm welcome to this information webinar. We're going to be talking about one of our Social Leaders Cymru programs. This is the Community Leader Rhyl program, and the plan is to talk you through what it's about, how it can really support you in your roles as community leaders working within that region, and an opportunity for you to ask questions about the program. So I'll talk to you a little bit about who we are at Claw Social Leadership, what we're about, why we exist, and then a little bit more about the program specifically, giving you a sense of the shape, the components, how long it will take, but also how it can be really, really meaningful and purposeful for you, your organizations, and the communities that you serve. And then, as I say, an opportunity at the end to ask any questions or anything that might have come up from the presentation. Please do use the chat. Please do unmute and speak to us at the end, and I'll signal that moment to you as well. So, Claw Social Leadership, if you're not familiar with who we are all about making positive social change, and we do that through really supporting, enabling, and connecting leaders across social change organizations, whether that's small grassroots community organizations through to bigger charities and nonprofits. We know that great leadership needs to be developed and nurtured in order for the social change to happen that we really want to see. So that's what we're really, really focused on, building and developing programs that enable leaders to make that change. We know it's tough. We know that it's a difficult role. And so we really work on creating programs that see the realities and the challenges of leaders doing this work. In terms of our beliefs, we're all about the program itself, really seeing, as I say, the realities and needs of leaders on those programs, but we also know that it's a lifelong thing. We're always learning and growing and developing as leaders, particularly in the social change space when the context is always shifting as well. And so our first belief is that leadership development is a lifelong journey. And in the context of our programs, that means post-program, after those 4, 5, or 6 months that a program might exist for, you actually have a cohort, a community, a group of leaders that you continue your learning and your connection and support with. And almost, I would say, exclusively, all of the programs that we've had over the last 15 years, whether they're shorter or longer programs, have led to WhatsApp groups, people who have then gone on their own residentials or had learning days that they've set up themselves. And that's as well as the program, that's a really important element of that lifelong journey, connecting with other leaders who experience similar things, who can share an understanding of your roles. We have a number of programs that support leaders at different levels. We do recognize that everyone that has an opportunity to influence and make change, whether that's strategic or at a small team level or a community organization level, everyone has the capacity for leadership, and it's recognizing how to really harness and develop that. I've mentioned this one already. We know that really good leadership is essential for social change, and all too often we find ourselves in these really important roles without those networks of support, without that really high quality, carefully designed leadership development opportunity that moves us forward, that helps us to navigate those challenges. And then finally, leaders grow leaders. A really common challenge across all kinds of social change organizations is capacity building, succession planning, and actually through modeling and understanding what great leadership and effective leadership looks and feels like, we create this ripple effect where other leaders are developed and nurtured and can see themselves in this work. So these are the things that underpin what we do, why we do it, and that feeds into our approach when it comes to program design. Just a moment to acknowledge our funders and our partners. So this opportunity, which is fully funded, so free for participants, has been made possible by the National Lottery Community Fund, the Gwynt and Real Flats Wind Farm Community Funds are making this happen. So we're really excited that we have funding from these partners to be able to make this happen at no cost to you. And we're also really proud to be partnering with Compass and WCVA as well. This is a partnership effort. We're working together to make this happen. And I have my colleague Siobhan from Compass on the call. I'm just going to hand over to for a moment.
Oh, thank you, Amit. Yes, just to say it's great to be here today, part of this information session. So, and it's really great that the Community Leader Rhyl program is now open for applications. So, over the last year or so, Social Leaders Cymru has sort of delivered sort of up to 5 leadership programs throughout Wales. So we've had 3 place-based ones in Wrexham, Swansea and Newport, and 2 online ones for experienced and emerging leaders. So it's so great that we've been able to continue the programme into this year. So again, it's with continued funding from the Gwynt and Rhyl Flats community funds, and National Lottery community funds still are continue to support the programme into year 3. So, it's a really exciting opportunity that we can sort of, this is going to be delivered across in a way, that strip along the North Wales coast. So in terms of that eligibility, if you go on the web page, you'll see a map, and there's a little bit more information about eligibility, but it's basically living or working within that strip, which is kind of from Llandudno right through to Prestatyn and a bit beyond to Flintshire. But I'd say there's more details on the website, and of course you can get in touch if you've got any questions. But yeah, it's great to be here. I'll hand back to Amit. Diolch.
Thank you, Siobhan. Yeah, a real pleasure to be partnering on this. Okay, I want to talk you through now, I guess, what it is you're after. What's the program about? What will happen? How will it really support you in your roles? And what we've got here is a bit of a map of some of the key components for what's going to be a 4-month program. The specific dates are available on the information page on our website, and if there is a colleague here that's able to paste the link from our website into the chat, that would be great. You'll see on our website the information that Siobhan's just mentioned in terms of the region that we're focused on, because this is one of our place-based programs that seeks to see the contextual realities of the leaders working in specific areas. But you will also see the full breakdown of the dates and events that you will need ahead of application, and so you can make sure that your schedule works with these dates. The first session, which is a welcome session, that will actually happen on the 3rd of February. So I'll tell you the first and end date, but the 3rd of February 2026 is the first session. And that really is an opportunity to get to know your cohort, to be welcomed by your facilitator, and to really understand what the shape of the program will look like, what the outcomes and purpose of the programs are. Then we'll have what we call our Discover component, which really is there's 2 elements to it. There's a self-guided element where you're introduced to some of the kind of core foundational leadership thinking and capabilities that form the backbone of a number of our programs. But there'll also be 3 online facilitated sessions that help you really reflect on and unpack the learning from that Discover online learning section. All right, so you'll be getting into the leadership frameworks as well as the capabilities that I've just mentioned, and that will be the language that feeds through and threads through following sessions. So that kind of gets us warmed up with some of that kind of foundational leadership learning. Then you have, throughout the 4 months, a range of what we call peer learning circles. So these are online sessions, again, facilitated, that allow you to bring the reflection and the learning from some of that online material, but really to start applying and thinking about what it means for you and your specific roles as community leaders working in Rhyl. So these are opportunities to continue those conversations, and that's where a lot of that rich learning really comes from, because we're working together and sharing and unpacking some of those similar challenges, as well as some of the real successes that we've had that can be so empowering in those online sessions. There will be 2 4-hour sessions focused on, specific community leadership tools, approaches, and so there are, as Siobhan has mentioned, for many years now, we've been really refining our approach to place-based program design and delivery. So we know what some of these challenges are, what some of the needs are in terms of leaders working in specific areas. But we also seek to do is to really, in an adaptive way, develop and shape as we go, once we understand the needs and the contexts of those participants, to ensure that we're making sure that those sessions really work for you. So still drawing on some of that core leadership theory, but actually making it real, bringing it to life in your context. So there'll be 2 4-hour sessions. You can see the dates of those online. There's a component that's called Lumina Spark, and that will be a day's workshop facilitated by a Lumina practitioner. And Lumina is a really powerful tool. We use it in a number of our programs, and we have for all of the programs that Siobhan's mentioned. It's a super helpful tool to help leaders reflect on themselves, to deepen that sense of self-awareness, to kind of understand what traits we lean into, and how we can bring our deeper sense of self to the work. So it's a portrait, it's a personalized psychometric or behavioral portrait that's really nuanced, that gives us a really deep sense of, okay, this is where I'm moving from, and these are the things that are working well for me, or things that maybe I can pull on a little more. So you'll have a personalized luminous spark portrait, and you'll go through a process where you're guided through how to understand and unpack that personalized portrait and bring it into your work as a community leader. You'll see here hackathon, again, a really powerful way to apply the learning. So this is about you working in groups collaboratively to bring your learning into context, and to think about how you can collaboratively problem solve and deal with some of the challenges that are showing up for you in your work. And again, these are facilitated, so really experienced facilitators who are able to hold that collaborative style workshop and make sure that you're getting both that theory but also the understanding of how to apply it into your roles and to support your communities that you're serving. And then finally, there is an end of program close and celebration, and that will be on the 17th of June. So that's when the program concludes. So it's running from February to June. I'm just going to leave this for a moment on the screen as well for you. And I think we have an alumni on the call. I think Louise is on the call, and I'm going to just invite her, if she is here, to unmute and say hello, and to share a little bit about her experience on a place-based program. Are you here?
I am. I'm here.
Hi, Louise. Thank you so
Hi.
much for joining.
No
If you
problem.
have 5 minutes, so just talk a little bit about your experience. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, so I've recently finished the Wrexham sort of program, and have to say really enjoyed it and found it really, really useful and applicable to sort of my work role. And I would say the main things for me really were that I wanted to connect with people who were social leaders who I wouldn't normally come across in my day-to-day sort of role. Yeah, we all go to sort of networking opportunities and things like that, but we don't actually really get to know people. So it's a really, really good opportunity to do that and make some really good connections. And we're still, a core of us still sort of connect regularly, talk regularly. WhatsApp, I'd say probably 4 or 5 times a week about work related, things, connecting, talking. And that's moved on into some sort of joint sort of partnership working as well in some in some occasions. So that's been really, really, really good. One of the main things for me was being able to do that. And the other parts that I really really I enjoyed it all, but particularly was the luminous spark. Was really powerful, really, really interesting. And again, something I still reflect on and use in terms of looking at leadership, management, relationships with others, and yeah.
We might have lost you just at the end there, Louise. I'm not sure if others are experiencing the same. Oh, I mean, we've got some really wonderful reflections. You've frozen for us, so I'm going to move on. If you come back, then I'll hand my hand back over to you, so you have an opportunity to finish what you were saying. But thank you. It's really, really wonderful to hear that the impact that it's had on you. Really nice to know that the community element and then the Luminous Spark component were particularly powerful for you. So thank you. If you do come back, just give me a shout and I'll hand over to you so you can finish up. But I'll move on. I'm going to just paste here, because I've mentioned the website, I'm going to paste that into the chat so you can see the dates that I've mentioned and the components in more detail, but also what Siobhan referred to, which was the kind of the regional element of this place-based program, which is important in terms of eligibility. The only other thing to add in terms of eligibility is, I guess kind of coming back to my point about how we recognize that leadership exists at all levels, is that this is a really open program because we recognize that there are all kinds of community leaders working at different levels and in different ways. So this is about leaders who are focused on serving communities, supporting and working for communities and within this area. And it could be full or part-time, it could be paid or voluntary. Social purpose is the thing though that will unite us on the program. So there's the regional element that Siobhan's mentioned. If you click on the link in the chat, that will take you to that detail in terms of where this program's focused. And then, as I say, in terms of what we're expecting, it's really the kind of work that you're involved in. And with that, in terms of the focus of your work, I've mentioned it being community enabling, it being around championing and supporting positive social change in your application, which we've made as simple as possible. It's about demonstrating how this program will support you in your work, and we want to get a sense that there's a real interest in using your leadership skills to improve the communities that you're working with and through. We're looking for a cohort of 30. There's an ongoing moderation process. If you have any questions, you can absolutely let us know. If anything comes up following the webinar, even in the questions after today, please do get in touch. But yeah, we really encourage you to get your applications in as soon as possible if it's something that seems exciting for you and relevant for you and your work. In terms of key dates, again, these are on the website, so you will see those on the link that I've just shared. The deadline for applications is the very end of the day on the 19th of December. And then you'll hear from us by the end of that first week in the new year in terms of the outcomes and whether you've been successful. And then you'll have all the information, if you have, on what's to come and the links for those sessions that I've talked about that will get us started on the program. So you'll hear from us by the 8th of January in the new year on the outcome of your application. So over to you. If you have any questions or comments or reflections, please do